9 years of teaching you to unmute, how to reclaim your voice, how to step into the fullness of who you are. And here's what I never told you: I have been terrified this whole time. It's the grief of letting go of that expectation that I would be further along by now. If you've been carrying the voice that says you should be further along, that you should have more figured out, stay with me. Because I think we might be in the same cycle. I think we're both ready to complete this chapter.
Sabrosura pa' ti que.
Is this on? Hi. My microphone broke this week. I know. And frankly, I could go buy a new one. I probably should. But instead, I I'm sitting here recording this episode, this milestone episode, with a borrowed mic, a hand me down from my friend Athena. Shout out to Athena. Came through with a microphone. And frankly, it feels right. It feels right. Because 9 years ago, when I started Cafe Con Pan, I recorded my first episode with a mic I found on Craigslist from a retired rapper who didn't need it anymore. And I had zero clue what I was doing. There was no fancy setup. There was no plan. There were nobody, like, people were actually not teaching how to podcast. It was this obscure thing that people did, mostly bros, and there was no blueprint. It was just my voice and the stories I needed to tell. And here we are, 9 years later, recording with another borrowed mic, sitting in the discomfort of not having the quote right tool, mourning the loss of the one that carried me this far. But here's the thing: the mic that got me here cannot take me where I'm going. And maybe that's what this whole year has been trying to teach me. 9 years. 9 years of Cafe Con Pan. 9 years of stories, 9 years of truth telling, 9 years of teaching you to unmute, how to reclaim your voice, how to step into the fullness of who you are. And here's what I never told you: I have been terrified this whole time. I've been teaching you to step into your full voice while I still whisper parts of mine. If you know anything about numerology, you know that nine is the number of completion, endings, the final chapter before rebirth. It's the number that says, algo tiene que morir para que algo nuevo pueda vivir. Something has to die so something new can live. And honestly, I feel it in my body, in my bones, because not only is Cafe Con Pam turning 9, we are turning 9 on year 9. 2025 is year 9. And this is beyond a milestone. This is a threshold. Because I also have grief, like real grief. I've already cried. I'm not hoping, not going to cry in this episode. Because to be frank, it's the grief of letting go of that expectation that I would be further along by now, that I would be in a different place, that I would have accomplished more, whatever more even means. You know the story, right? The one that says that you should be further ahead, the one that measures your worth by milestones you haven't hit yet, the one that whispers, 9 years and this is all you have to show for it? Yeah, that one. But there's also something else here. There's excitement, there's relief, because I think I'm finally ready to let that story go. I'm ready to accept presence, this moment, this timeline, my timeline, and to honor it by unapologetically existing despite the unattainable expectations my brain keeps trying to create. Because here's the truth: lean in. I really need you to hear this. I've spent 9 years teaching you to unmute, and again, I'm still learning to do it myself. So today, I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm unmuting in real time. Probably I've done it. I've done it before. But this time I'm being radical about it. It feels very true to do it, very kind of meta to do it. because I'm showing you what I've been building in the shadows. It's not perfect, and definitely I have not arrived. But if I'm asking you to step into your full voice, to reclaim your power, to stop playing small, then obviously I have to do it too. And this episode, it's for both of us. If you have been feeling the weight of the world lately, I have. If you've been carrying the voice that says you should be further along, that you should have more figured out, stay with me. Because I think we might be in the same cycle. I think we're both ready to complete this chapter. So let's do it together. Bienvenida. Welcome back. Let's talk about what ends when you're finally ready to begin. So let's talk about what the number 9 actually demands of us. In numerology, 9 isn't just about completion, it's about release. It's a number that says before you can step into what's next, you have to let go of what no longer fits. And that's not always comfortable. Many times it's messy. Other times it feels like you're losing something you worked so hard to build. But here's what I'm learning: the things we're being asked to release, they were never meant to last forever. They were simply scaffolding. And now it's time to step out from behind it. Like my microphone. Look, it served me well. It carried my voice for years. I loved that little mic, but it broke because it was time. And instead of rushing to replace it with the exact same model, newer, I'm sitting here with a borrowed one, asking myself, what if the tool that got me here isn't the tool that will take me where I'm going? And the question, it's not just about equipment. So, what am I releasing? I'm releasing the version of me that needed to make my work palatable. The one that worried if I showed you the full scope of what I've been building, you would think I was getting too big or too corporate, or I would become a sellout or not Latina enough or somehow too much at the same time. I am releasing the belief that my body of work has to fit into someone else's framework to be legit. That I need external validation to say, yeah, this is real and this matters. Because frankly, I'm releasing the exhaustion of performing healed, of showing up like I've got it all figured out when the truth is I am still in it. I am still learning. I'm still unbecoming the parts of me that learned to stay small. Hmm. And maybe you're releasing something too. Maybe you're releasing the version of yourself that plays along, that keeps the peace, that says, I'm fine, when really you're not fine. That performs gratitude when what you really feel is tired. Maybe you're releasing the belief that your healing has to look a certain way, that it should be linear, that by now you should have it all figured out. Maybe you're releasing the fear that claiming your full voice means losing people, that speaking your truth will make you too much, that if you stop shrinking, there won't be room for you anymore. And maybe, just maybe, you're releasing the exhaustion of carrying a version of yourself that's too small for what you're actually being called to do. The tool that got you here won't take you where you're going. And that's okay. That's not failure. That's just a very basic form of evolution. Evolution. I know you feel the weight of the world right now. I do too. It's been hard in so many levels. But sabes que? I think part of the weight is this. We are carrying versions of ourselves that don't fit anymore. Ya crecimos. We've outgrown them, but we're still trying to squeeze them in because it's what we know, because they feel safe, because it's familiar. But what if this moment, what if the heaviness you're feeling is not necessarily signaling something that might be wrong? What if it's signaling something that is ready? So here's my invitation for you to sit with, just for a second. What if this isn't just about me turning 9 with a podcast? What if you are in a 9-year cycle too? What if we're both standing in a threshold, being asked to release what no longer serves us so we can step into what is next? Because the thing about endings is that they're only scary when we forget that they're also beginnings. And I think we're both ready to begin. So, before I show you what I've been building, I would love for you to understand why I've been afraid to show it to you. I think it's important to step into that space first because really, the work itself is beyond that. It's about what it means to finally claim it. And that's what I'm learning to do in real time with you. So let's take a deep breath. Whew. What I've been too afraid to show you, not because it's not ready, frankly, but because I wasn't ready to be seen holding it. Mm. For 9 years, I have been teaching you pieces of my work. Bits and pieces, I've been dropping them here and there about Calladita culture, about the five wounds, about even cycle syncing and tapping and inner Niña healing. And if you've been here for a while, you know you've heard the concepts. You have felt them land when I've shared them. And maybe you've even started doing the work. But here's what I've never shown you, how it all connects. And they're not separate practices, they're not a menu to pick from. What I realized is that it's a language I've been learning to speak, a language that has been stolen from us. And I've been teaching you the vocabulary, word by word, phrase by phrase, el vocabulario, without ever showing you the full grammar, the structure, the way it all flows together. And I think I've been doing it porque, in a way, I believe that if I showed you the whole thing, I would have to claim it. And I would have to say, this is mine, I built this, and it works. And that thought terrified me, like a lot. But I'm done being terrified. So let me show you. Imagínate esto. Your healing journey is a casa, not just any house, your ancestral home, the one that holds all the stories, all the silences, all the ways your family learned to survive. For most of us, we inherited the house with the doors locked, the windows were shut, the rooms where we're not allowed to enter. And we learned to live small inside of it because that's what we were taught. That's what was safe. That's what was familiar. But what I've been doing for 9 years, what we have been doing together, is learning the language that unlocks the doors, the language that lets us walk through every room, the language that says, esta casa es mía y yo decido lo que se queda y lo que se va. I decide what stays and what goes. So here's how the language works, and here's how it all connects. Calladita culture is the awakening. It's the moment you realize, oh, I was taught to be quiet. This silence, it wasn't my choice. It was survival. It's the diagnosis, it's the naming, it's the first time you say out loud, this happened to me, and this is why I learned to shrink. Without this, you're just trying to heal without understanding what you're healing from. And that's exhausting. This is why the work doesn't stick. It works temporarily, but then you go back to the repeating a pattern somehow, somewhere. So calladita culture is the key to the front door. It's what lets you begin to enter the house. Once you're inside, you need a map because this house is big. It's pretty large. There are rooms you didn't know existed, and these are wounds you didn't know you were carrying. And that's where the five wounds come in. The five wounds are the map. They show you where the pain lives: rejection, abandonment, betrayal, humiliation, injustice. These are not abstract concepts, they're simply the rooms in your ancestral home where trauma gets stored. This is where your nervous system learned to protect you. And when you can name the wound, you can finally meet it. You can walk into the room and say, oh, this is where I learned I wasn't enough. This is where I learned love wasn't safe. The five wounds give you the vocabulary to understand your pain, to stop blaming yourself for reactions that are actually protection mechanisms. Because here's the thing, Knowing where the pain lives is not, it may be the first step, but you have to learn how to be in your body while you're doing the work. Because if you're dysregulated, if your nervous system is in survival mode, you cannot actually do some healing. You're simply re traumatizing yourself. And believe me, I've seen it done and done and done over and over again. And this is where we bring in somatic tools. This is where we bring in the connection to your body, tapping, breath work. And I want you to truly tune into the fact that these tools go beyond wellness trends. They're practices that teach you how to regulate, how to come back to your body, how to say, I'm safe enough to feel this. Think of it like this: if the 5 wounds are the map, the somatic tools are what help you walk through the house without collapsing. They're grounding, their nervous system support, the reminder that you can hold grief and safety at the same time. You're learning to speak the language in your body, not just in your mind. We want to stop being walking heads and start actually embodying, actually feeling the body. And then, once you're inside the house, once you have the map, once you know how to stay regulated, there's one more room you have to enter. And the room is where your inner niña is waiting. And maybe this is a patio. No, maybe this is the middle of the casa. The way that I imagine it es como una hacienda, ¿no? Entonces, en medio donde está todo el patio, that's where your inner niña is waiting for you. This is your reclamation, because all of this work, the awakening, the mapping, the regulation, it's leading you to this point, to the part of you that never forgot who you were before the world told you to be quiet, before calladita culture took root, before the wounds convinced you that you were not enough. Your inner niña is a part of you that still remembers your voice, your bigness, your magic. And when you meet her, when you actually sit with her and say, I see you, I'm here, and I'm not leaving, that's when true transformation happens. That's when you stop healing and you begin reclaiming. Mm. So, calladita culture is the key. The 5 wounds are the map. Your somatic tools are the regulation, and your inner niña healing is the reclamation. And when you put it all together, that is the unmute and reclaim methodology. The full language, the one I've been teaching you piece by piece for 9 years. It's not a framework I borrowed. It's also not something I learned in a certification program. It's what I built from my own healing, from my own unbecoming, from walking through my own ancestral home and deciding what stays y qué se va. And I've been too afraid to name it, to claim it, to say, this is mine. But here's the truth: I've spent 9 years teaching you to unmute, and again, I'm still learning to do it myself. And the part of unmuting is finally saying, this is my work and this is what I've built. And it's time you see the whole picture. It's time for me to own it. So here it is: the full language, the full casita, the full method. Not perfect yet. I have not arrived. But if I'm asking you to claim your voice, I have to claim mine too. And now we get to talk about what you are ready to claim. So your invitation comes as writing a love letter to yourself. Because if this episode is landing within your body right, if something in you is saying, yes, I feel this, then you're ready for your own 9 year moment, your own threshold, your own release and reclamation. And we're already in a year 9. So let's do this. Grab your journal, sit with the questions, let them move you, let them move through you. Uno, what chapter are you completing right now? It doesn't have to be a 9 year literal cycle. It's like, you don't have to go back. What were you doing 9 years ago? Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a job. Maybe it's a way of being that you have outgrown and you know you have outgrown it. Maybe it's a version of yourself that's been carrying you, but you cannot take that version of you where you're going. What does it feel like it's ending? And more importantly, what are you ready to allow it to end? Because sometimes we know something's over long before we're willing to say it out loud. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes we know something is over before we're able to call it. Número dos, what have you been building in the shadows? Maybe it's a business, maybe it's a boundary, maybe it's a new way of speaking to yourself. Maybe it's even a new way of introducing yourself. A dream you've been too afraid to name. What have you been creating quietly, secretly, hoping no one notices until you're, quote, ready? Because the real question is this: what are you afraid will happen if you finally claim it? Porque let me tell you what I was afraid of. That you would think I was too much, that I would lose the intimacy that makes this work sacred. That claiming my methodology and my body of work meant I was becoming something I was not going to be able to recognize. Qué fuerte, ¿no? Pero lo que estoy aprendiendo is that my fear of being seen is just another version of calladita culture. It's a voice that says, quédate chiquita, stay small, stay safe, don't take up too much space. Y la neta del planeta is that we're done with that. So I'll bring it back to you. What are you ready to play? Número tres, where are you playing small still? Más importante, who are you playing small for? Is it family? Is it your partner? Is it your boss? Is it your community? Is it the version of yourself that's terrified of disappointing? Porque ahí te va la verdad. La gente que te quiere, they're going to adjust. They're going to catch up. The ones who can't, they were not meant to walk the next chapter with you. Hay gente que es parte de una oración. They're just one sentence in your book. There's people that are pages of it. There's people that are chapters. There's people that walk with you the whole book. Most people have little pieces of you, not all of them. And just say, yo entiendo. It's hard to hear. I know it feels like betrayal. I know sometimes to even think that you're like, oh, qué fuerte, ¿no? But staying small to keep other people comfortable is not love, it's self abandonment. You've already abandoned yourself long enough. So let's sit with those three questions. Maybe journal on them. Maybe send me a DM with your answers. Let the questions move through you. Let the answers get into your body and see what comes up. Because if you're realizing that you're ready, truly ready to do this work at a deeper level, then something's coming. And this is where we do this work together. I don't like to use this word, but we do it in community. This is where all the tools I just walked you through, calladita culture, the 5 wounds, somatic practices, inner Niña healing, and the full unmute and reclaim method will be in there. And it's not a course, it's a container. It's a container you grow inside of. It's where you learn the language, you walk through your ancestral home, and you reclaim the parts of yourself that you thought were lost. I'm going to tell you more about it later. It's not ready. This one truly, like, it's almost ready, but it's not ready. I'm curious to know if you are ready to start. And the first step, frankly, is to sit with the questions. Very easy. I don't want you to take any other action than to sit with the questions and tune in to see what your body responds. Because unmuting is not a one time event, it's a practice. It starts with asking yourself, what am I ready to release and what am I ready to claim? Y mira, si este episodio está resonando, please share it. Please send it to a friend who's might be in their own 9-year moment. Post it on your stories and tag me and tell me what you're releasing. What are you claiming? Porque este trabajo, el punto es que se contagie. We want to make it contagious because we need each other to do it. This is not work to be done alone. I've done alone for so long. Y la verdad is not something that we are to do alone.
We all know this. Talking about money is not always the most comfortable. Pero our friends from Savvy Ladies make it easier, and now en español. You don't have to feel the pressure to translate for your mamá or your tías because Savvy Ladies has their whole site en nuestro idioma. Y ahora they can easily access their free resources like talleres, clases y mi favorita es la línea gratis para enviar preguntas. Their free financial helpline en donde puedes conectar with a trusted financial expert. Whether you need financial guidance in English or in Espanol, Savvy Ladies is here to support you. Visit savvyladies.org, that is SAVVYLADIES.org para empezar your financial freedom.
Here's the thing, Latina families have been saving money forever, from reusing plastic containers for comida, folding up plastic bags under the sink, and diluting dish soap with water. The last thing we need is to pay fees to access our money, right? Was in case you didn't know, BMO customers have access to 40,000 fee-free ATMs across the United States. Plus, their BMO Smart Advantage checking account has no monthly maintenance fee. Learn more about how BMO can help by visiting bmo.com/checking. bmo.com/checking. Conditions apply. Accounts provided in the United States by BMO Bank and a member FDIC. So, one more thing before we close, I want to tell you a story because all of this, the methodology, the metaphors, the broken mic, it's pointing to one truth. And I want to invite you to hear it. Months ago, one of my highest paying clients sent me a message, and it was a very short message. Hey, let's hop in a call room. Let's hop in a Zoom real quick and let's clarify some things. I read the email and I freaked out. Like full catastrophizing, immediate spiral. She's firing me. She hates my work. I did something wrong. I'm not good enough. I was hacked. Like I, like everything. And all of the stories were just flooding into my brain. My body went into full protection mode. I closed up. And in a moment, a teeny tiny like sliver of light, I came to my senses and I used my tools. And the first thing I asked myself, what do I know to be true in this moment? Very simple. And what I heard from my highest self, not from anxious Angie. So my my anxiety has a name, and her name is anxious Angie. To all my Angies that to the Angie that listens to me, I love you, but you're not anxious Angie. But I think about this because I know a couple of Angies, but I don't know. My anxiety is just Angie, not anyway. So what my highest self responded is, you've been doing the best work you could. That's what I knew to be true. So I tapped, I went for a walk, I journaled to release the thoughts that were spiraling in my head. And finally, the day of the call arrived. I had to wait a week for the call. I showed up. I still cared. I was bracing for the worst though, because anxious Angie, she be a relentless warrior and she wants to be seen in so many ways. And so she's just there. And I truly was fully expecting to get fired. And we hopped on the call. First thing she says, she's like, "Hey, I just want to tell you, it's such a delight to work with you. You always show up on time for our calls. You are responsive to my emails. We love your work. It's really awesome. I want to start with that because we hadn't had a chance to chat about it, and I truly want you to know this, that this is how we feel." And then she asked me to clarify some reports I had sent, porque honestly, the reports were confusing. And so I explained them, and 20 minutes later, 18, the call was done. And I sat there feeling two things at once. Por un lado, relieved, y por el otro, I was so pissed at myself for letting my anxiety take over once again. Y lo que aprendí aquí es que mi ansiedad is not a weakness, is not me not being healed enough. It's anxious Angie protecting my inner Nina. It's the part of me that learned that abandonment is always around the corner for me. It's the voice that says that good things don't last. That if someone wants to talk to me, it must mean I did something wrong. Y bueno, pues instead of shaming her, I'm learning to meet her. I'm learning to say, I see you. I know you're scared, pero I am here and I'm not leaving you. Y that's the work. That's the work. The point is not to never feel fear. The point is about knowing how to return, how to come back, how to regulate, how to arrive at that place of neutrality. So we can remind that little niñita inside of you, you're safe. I've got you. We're not doing this alone anymore. Y desde ese momento, months ago, that's what I've been doing every day, meeting her, reassuring her, reminding her that she does not have to protect me anymore, that I can protect us now. ¿Y sabes qué pasa? She feels safer. She's more comfortable being seen. She's more okay with attention and support, and she's learning to ask for help. Y otra cosa que está pasando es que ella se está acordando de su magia. She's starting to remember her magic. Because the fear's still there. Pero ahora yo estoy ahí con ella. I'm finally holding her hand, walking along with her. Yo dije que no iba a llorar and then I got the emotion, but if you're listening to this and thinking maybe I should be further along or I should have all of this figured out by now, why am I still spiraling? Why do I still catastrophize? Eso no es que estás fallando, no es que you're failing at life, no es que like you're missing something. It's o sea, nada más lo que pasa es que tu sistema nervioso is doing what it's designed to do. Your body is protecting you. Porque we're not going to feel. The work is to learn how to hold yourself while you feel. The work is to say to your inner niña, I see you. No te voy a dejar, and we got this. Porque that's what unmuting actually looks like. Nadie dijo nunca que it has to be perfect. Al contrario, it's not polished, but it's actually present. Y la neta, si yo lo puedo hacer, and if I can accept that after 9 years in this, I'm still learning a ton. I've been doing my own inner work since I'm 11 years old when my dad left. My dad left me. Then you can do it too. Porque you don't have to have it all figured out to start reclaiming your voice. El punto es que you're choosing to show up. Messy, scared, with a borrowed mic, así. Y es lo que estamos haciendo juntas, ¿no? It's what we're doing here together. It's what we are here to do alongside each other. So here's what we covered today: 9 years, the number of completion, the number that demands release before rebirth. Yo te conté what I'm releasing, the version of me that needed to make my work palatable, the belief that I had to fit into someone else's framework, the exhaustion of performing healed. And I showed you what I've been building, the full unmute and reclaim methodology. Calladita culture is the key. The 5 wounds are the map. Somatic tools are the regulation. And your inner niña is the reclamation. The language that lets you walk through your ancestral home and decide what stays and what goes. Y también te pregunté, te hice 3 preguntas. What chapter are you completing? What have you been building in the shadows? And where are you still playing small? Here's the invitation. Primero que nada, sit with the questions. Journal on them. Let them move through you. Those, if this episode resonated, please share it with someone you know who needs it. Post it. Tag me on Instagram. I would love to know what you're releasing. Tag me on all the places. I don't know. I'm everywhere. Tell me what you're claiming. I genuinely, I want to witness you. It's so fun to receive your DMs and be like, this is what I'm claiming. Oh, that would be a win for me to celebrate 9 years. Y número tres, if you're ready to go deeper, if you want to learn the language, if you want to walk through the casa and do this work together, then send me a DM and tell me you're ready. And we might have a link to go into a waiting list. I don't know yet. I'm in this like transitional space. And even I hesitated to do this episode because I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to share what's coming, but I'm ready to share what's here. But I'm really curious if you're ready and what I shared resonated and you feel called to explore what it means. Please do let me know because I want to know. We might have a link by the time this releases. Y bueno, al final de cuentas, pues muchas gracias. Thank you for 9 years. Independientemente de how long you've been here, whether this is your first episode or your 400th episode, lo más que te puedo decir es gracias for trusting me. Thank you for trusting me with your ears. Thank you for trusting me and humoring me and my never ending rambling stories. Thank you for trusting me with your healing and with your becoming. And truly, I want you to know that I don't take it lightly. And I cannot wait to see what we build together in year 10. Quiero muchísimo. Nos vemos pronto. Y bueno, sigue brillando. Café con Pam is created con mucho amor by our small but mighty team. Content production by Nancy Jaimes. Podcast management by Maru Linardi. Social media and marketing by Brenda Figueroa. And me, your host, Pam Covarrubias. To keep the cafecito brewing and the healing flowing, join the Supporters Club for only $5 a month and access early episodes, behind the scenes vibes, and exclusive minisodes you won't hear anywhere else. Screenshot this episode and tag me and share what resonated. I love seeing your takeaways. Follow on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's keep the conversation going with us on social media at Café con Pan Podcast because your voice always matters there. We love being on Instagram and Facebook. Gracias for listening to Café con Pan, a Spread Ideas Move People production. For more episodes, guest info, or resources, visit cafeconpam.com. And if you're healing from calladita culture and don't know where to start, you can take the quiz. cafeconpam.com/quiz for Tia Wisdom and cariño just for you. Sabrosura pa' ti que